Hello, everybody. This is SHC TV. I'm Secondhand Coke, and welcome back for the second video I'm posting in one day. I'm setting a record. This one is about it's a year in review, and I may be a little late to look back on 2024. Probably would have been a bit more nostalgic on New Year's Eve, or New Year's Day, but it's the day after New Year's Day. So I think we're pretty safe in going in and just feeling good about seeing if Megan achieved her quote year of redemption by reviewing what Harry and Meghan's highlights were over the course of this year. Now, first month, January, as usual. In January, I'm a royal watcher. I'm not a Harry and Meghan watcher. And so when Kensington Palace released this statement on the 17th of January about the Princess of Wales being admitted to the hospital for a planned abdominal surgery, I I understood it. And then the notice continues to say, based on current medical advice, she is likely unable to return to public duties until after Easter. So I thought to myself, oh, that's sad. I'm not going to see Catherine for 2 months or more. But I knew where she was because they put this out, right? And I read and I'm literate, and I'm not just getting every piece of information that I want from YouTube. I mean, not YouTube. Well, YouTube also, but Twitter. This it, anyway. So what happens is the "Where is Kate Middleton" hashtags started to just inundate everybody, and as these people come up with the most horrific and the most tin hat theories and that anybody could come up with for where is a woman who has already announced that she has had a large surgery and will not be back out until Easter. She's already told them. Of course, these are just a bunch of bucket heads, and I don't think they get out much or read or anything other than what goes on in Twitter, because I think we get our news now in memes, and that's really sad. Um, Memes and conspiracy theories. Um, so of course it gets very conspiratorial. Now, personally, I knew where Kate was because I read the Kensington Palace thing. I was worried about her because staying in the hospital after abdominal surgery for that long is not usual. And then I heard something that I hesitate to tell, but it came to me that the kind of cancer Princess Catherine had was stage 2 stomach cancer. I can't find anything that mentions this, but having had a spouse who went through bowel cancer, Kate probably had, or Catherine probably had, one of those tubes that come out your nose and drain your stomach, and she may have had an ostomy in for a little while. And she said something, I remember that they said something about she didn't want her children to see her in that state, so she would talk to them via FaceTime. And so that's what happened there. But on Twitter, it just goes crazy for no reason, and things are nuts among the sugars who are saying that William's beaten her and all kinds of junk that I don't really get. I don't understand the sugars, so I just try to run away from them whenever they come around. So then we go into February, as we tend to do in a year. And we start to get reports about a major Kate Middleton security breach as hospital staff attempted to view private medical records. Now, around that time, and this part here just goes into how this was a breach of confidentiality, with how this hospital is taking it seriously. But what I was hearing about it was that it definitely had a source that if you shook too hard, would end up in Montecito. So this is a record or a chat that I had with somebody on the subreddit, and this was in January. And the question she asked me is the stories about Megan and the Kardashians true? Like, are they looking to pair together for a project? And I told her I heard it's true, and I don't think the Kardashians have made any official deals, but they're supposedly feeling them out. The where's feel you know that whole "Where's Kate" fiasco was Kim testing the waters to see what public response might be to any collaboration or association with Megan, and Kim was not impressed and saw no need to continue anything with her. Harry wasn't a part of it, but I got the idea that there was something where Kim wanted her children to play and grandchildren to play with Prince Archie and Little Bit, or the actors who will be playing them that day, and cultivate this friendship and then this childhood and lifelong romance so that Kardashians become royal. And can you imagine? But then they're like, we can't have Megan around. So that's just some tea that I heard and spilled in February. But I did also hear that the act to go and get Catherine's medical records was, if you follow the trail, it will take you to Montecito. I'm pretty sure of that. They were dying to get that, and maybe they got it if this thing about stomach cancer is true. But I just feel for Catherine. There's no reason for that, and Megan's just such a trollop. It's just ridiculous. All right, more in February. Megan goes with Harry to Whistler for the pre-games for the Invictus that's going to be held in Vancouver this year. So she apparently needs to wear, I think, 40. Well, let's look at the stuff here. People was helpful enough to tell us, and I've got the People magazine link in the program notes so you can see them and read the stories if you want to. But they're telling, that Meghan had made a few romantic nods to Prince Harry on Valentine's Day, including a winter beanie they wore while dating the royal and her engagement ring, which she was seen without. According to a video posted on X by Rebecca Lewis of Hello magazine, I would do it like HG Tudor, Meghan borrowed a phone to take a photo of her husband sitting in the adaptive ski on Wednesday. She reportedly wanted to show the kids, referring to their 4-year-old son, Prince Archie, and 2-year-old daughter, Prince Lilibet. I have questions. Why did she not take pictures with her own camera phone? And why would you pick a stranger and have them have your number and all of that to text these pictures so that you can show your son daddy in an adaptive ski thing? I don't buy it. But that's what she was up to. She was up to wearing expensive clothes and Whistler and just bothering people. In total, she spent $44,000 for the ski wardrobe, and yes, there were those nods to romance. So, her spending continues to be outrageous, and it's going to get them into trouble. Now, this also happened. This in February. You can see here. I think, yeah, you can see here that the application extension to response, there was the LOP. This is all for the American Riviera Orchard trademark. And then they sent their application on February 2nd, and it takes a good 8 weeks to get a response. And we saw the response in a different document that where they're said they are rejecting it, and you've got to give us more information if you want to discuss this to fight it. So that's something that was happening in February. Meghan was beginning to have the trademark issue with ARO. Moving on to March. Okay, now in March, Meghan starts putting buying up American Riviera Orchard domains, and launches websites off of them. She has an Instagram story posted from that shows clips of Megan's at home as the song "I Wish You Love" by Nancy Wilson plays. Notably, the logo for American Riviera Orchard features a gold font on a beige background and features a crest with the letters ARO on top and Montecito beneath the script by the name. And the description of the Instagram accounts reads simply, "By Megan, the Duchess of Sussex, and established 2024." Specifically, the account was launched in January. No details have been made public yet, or at that time they hadn't been, regarding what American Riviera Orchard could be. Is it the TIG 2.0, a lifestyle brand? Is it something else? Do we care? Well, also during March, all of the craziness on Twitter, the Where's Kate campaign, led to Princess Catherine giving a brave explanation of her having found out she has cancer and that she has to deal with that. And it's just a shame that she was kind of forced into revealing it because people wouldn't accept what had already been put out about her. And it's even more sad when you know who's behind it, and that is the Sugars. All right, moving on. So March is when Catherine sent her message. And after Catherine sent her message, Meghan essentially, as this article uh, confirms, got mad at that everybody was paying attention to Princess Catherine and her cancer, and the cancer has overshadowed her. So it says, of course, the Duchess of Sussex thinks that the case cancer has overshadowed her, and that's why no one's paying attention to her business. But then again, there's a possibility that the public simply isn't interested, and I think it's too. But also, you have to have something to sell, sweetheart, before you have a business. I don't get what you were trying to do. Um, but we're going to April now, and April is when the soft launch of Jam came out. Now, these handwritten labels, you can see that who's that Nacho? That Nacho is 10 out of 50. So somebody was 1, somebody was 2. I heard Kris Jenner got 1 and did not share it. I heard that I want to say Michelle Obama got 1, but I don't think so. I think Michelle Obama has made her point with Meghan, but a lot of people got them who were like, "What the? No, we're not doing this." What also happened in April, which I'll discuss more in June, is that Meghan started production on the cooking and lifestyle show. And it took only 4 weeks of production time to get something out. So I don't have high hopes for this, but we'll see what happens. Let's move on though to May. May is fun because we, get your passports ready, are going on a faux royal tour. It reminds me of Gilligan's Island, the 4-hour tour, except it's a faux royal tour. Anyway, so May is when they go on their faux royal tour to Nigeria, and I got their it looked like a private jet to me, so I just put that up there. And they're headed into Nigeria, and while Meghan is there around people without the means to wear what she was paying to wear, she wore nearly $120,000 of new jewelry and clothing in 72 hours on her quasi-royal tour of Nigeria with Prince Harry. And boy, did she pick out some doozies and pay some serious money for some clothes I don't understand. I would have immediately looked around in Nigeria. I would have researched it before and found out how they dress and, their terms of modesty, and I would have tried to adhere to that, but we know Meghan can't be asked to do that. So, here's what she shows up in. A backless side boob showing dress that is dragging the ground, and it's for a visit to a kindergarten. So she's walking around virtually half naked in front of kindergartners and everybody here. You won't see a single soul if you look at pictures from this event that had even something sleeveless on. But here she is, really really exposing a lot, and I wonder what made her possessed her to do that. But that was money well spent, Meg. Good job. Um, our second example, I actually think Megan looks okay here. Um, I don't have a problem with it at all. It looks like it's appropriate for where she is. That coat might be a hair big, but I think she looks fine, so I'm not gonna give her a hard time. Harry, on the other hand, looks like he fell asleep in the car and then realized, I forgot to put my clothes on, and where are my clothes, my love? I don't know." And Megan had them crammed into the bottom of a men's warehouse hanging bag, and she says, "Here they are," and, "Oh dear, my love, they're wrinkled, and now I look like a person without a home, and oh dear, what should I do?" But anyway, the point is, Megan here looks like she should, I think, in this situation, and Harry looks like he rolled out of something and came in with dressed like that. Like, what? Yeah, somebody buy these people an iron. Use your waffle iron if you can't do your own. I mean, geez. All right, moving on. So this yellow dress she wore before at something or other. I didn't take notes or care, but I think the dress looks really good on her. And but the only problem is it's sleeveless and it's Nigeria and nobody's wearing sleeveless in Nigeria. Sometimes I wonder if they gave her that draping to give her a little more modesty with her clothing, but I don't know. But I like the dress. I think it would have been appropriate maybe in a different place, and it looks good on her. It accentuates the things that are good about her figure and hides a lot of the things that are not good about her figure. So, I like it, but not for Nigeria. You know, know your audience, Megan. So that's that one. And now we come to the ones where I'm like, what in the hell is going on here? And in fact, I already wrote, what exactly in God's hell is happening here? I can see her panty line. You can see her panty line. You can see, a bulge. And I'm not scolding her for having a spare tire. I got one, but they're Spanx, and you don't wear those clingy cotton things if you can't. God, I just see the shape of her underwear. It is so inappropriate. And then it gets even worse. So you take a look at her and you look at where it clings and what it clings to, and it to me it looks like it is showing a body part that is inappropriate. I feel like there's something there I should not be seeing. Like, a mound of something. I don't know, but I just am like, can you please get some Spanx and a slip so that I don't have to look at these things when you rub them in my face. The dress is too casual. It is too naked. It is too disrespectful for what she was doing right here. And that's my problem with it. So next thing she wore was this white sleeve dress, and this didn't even have straps. And you notice no one around her is going sleeveless or strapless. She looks like it's bunched up in her short waist, and which is, I have a short waist, but I don't know why she would let it bunch up there. But you can see her panty line there too. It's driving me nuts. Like, is it only me who sees it? Please, if you see it, put in the comments, yeah, I see it. Because I'm feeling like a perv over here. Like, I'm seeing something I'm not supposed to see. But this is a see-through dress. You can see her legs. You can see what compelled her to think it was appropriate to wear this? And why did she not go to Nigeria or go to Wikipedia in Nigeria, or just Google Nigerian fashion? How do Nigerians dress? What are their dressing values? Or get a stylist who is specialized in these things like Catherine does, and then let yourself be dressed by somebody who knows the culture and who knows how to make you look good simultaneously. But Megan can't take advice, so there she is looking silly again. All right. Now, they also, of course, had to go to Polo, and look at what she wore to Polo. This linen, I, I don't know what's going on with the drape in the neck and the, like, what little boob is there is looking like it is fighting its way out, and the front is so saggy, and she looks coked out of her mind. And Harry is wearing sunglasses, probably so you can tell he's not coked out of it. He's coked out of his mind. But another thing is that when you see a whole picture of this outfit, she is wearing these shoes. Now, I know about Polo now because I watched that documentary, you guys. And I'm telling you, when the other women go out to watch their husbands play polo, they go in shoes that can be walked around easily in grass, not stilettos that are going to constantly poke holes in the grass. And these are stilettos that constantly will poke holes in the grass. So I don't know why she wore that. I don't know. It looks horrible. It looks it looks like it looks like, and it's wrinkled and pulls in all the wrong places. I just don't get it. I don't get it. But that's what she wore. So one more fashion thing, and then we'll be able to fly home from Nigeria. Um, so in Nigeria, she wears this zebra dress, and you can tell she's very uncomfortable with it, trying to keep it down. She's got nothing but these beaded straps that look ready to fall at any minute. Oh, but she gets up here and she finds a little girl that she can take a picture with. And it's always got to be, someone of color. And she makes these people into caricatures that she just uses for her own image. That girl there is thinking what everybody else is thinking. I mean, look at her eyes. She is like, what is this lady doing to me right now? And why can't I get her arm off me and go on and find my parents? I don't know. And then she wore this the whole time and sat down in it and was uncomfortable, and it was just a bad look, and an inappropriate look for where she was. Anyway, now they go home. Why they were ever even there, it remains unanswered. Oh, it's because Megan's 43% Nigerian. Yeah, so she's Lolo now. So they leave, and we're coming up to the end of June, and what happened, or the end of May, and what happens is that the visit also celebrates Meghan's recent discovery that she is of Nigerian heritage. In 2022, she learned she is 43% Nigerian after taking a genealogy test. On their first outing, Meg spoke from the heart to the heart of school children, and during the inaugural mental health summit, when she said, "I see myself in all of you." And I thought, oh my God, can you hide the narcissism a little bit? I I see what the kids don't need you to see herself in them. What good does that do? They need to have someone that says, "I see you achieving your dreams. I see you working hard. I see you looking for help, and I see that you all have promise." I mean, those types of things are appropriate. Seeing a bunch of kids you don't know, saying you're seeing yourself in their eyes is one of the most narcissistic things that this woman has ever said. I don't know why they let her leave the United States or talk to the UN. I don't care who her uncle was. This woman has no sensitivity and no sense of diplomacy whatsoever. So let's move on to June. Halfway through the year. Almost. Okay. So on Saturday the 8th, it was announced that the next weekend, Catherine was feeling well enough that she would join the family at the Trooping of the Color. And so she did on Saturday, June 15th, 2024. Well, guess what else happened on Saturday, June 15th, 2024? Is that it? Nope. This is it. Nacho Instagrams out that there's a new flavor for jam for the American Riviera Orchard. Don't miss it. And there are dog biscuits on sale. So a poor woman coming back for her first public appearance after dealing with cancer, or currently dealing with cancer at that time, she comes to an event, and Meghan cannot let her have it. She has to get somebody to do something to turn attention away to Catherine, even if it's just to say Meghan is such an asshole for making everybody pay attention to Catherine, or everybody to pay attention to her when Catherine is the one who deserves the world's attention and the world's praise. So let's move on to July. A lot of things happen in July. So back in July, this is a stream of comments that I did on Reddit, and it had to do um, with the cooking show that I just made a video on, because we got blindsided by it actually being used and connected and named and put a date on. So what I was basically saying is that at the time, and this was 180 days ago, it was in July. So at the time I asked, I was told it had finished filming. Netflix did not produce. It also currently has no title or air date, which was true at the time, and it still has to go through post production. And then I said, I suspect that two things are going on. One could be it's a last minute attempt to shove something down Netflix's throat before the contract runs out. And I think that's what this is, now that we know that this cooking show's out in January. She needs money. She needs money badly. Her day to day living expenses, I don't know how it doesn't, the math doesn't work. Another thing, though, that I still want everybody to keep an eye on is that Sony got involved. And we know Sony wanted to buy Paramount, and that Misan Harriman, or I always say Harry's man, but Misan Harriman was wearing a Paramount press tag all during the Nigeria tour. And I am just waiting for there to be an announcement that Megan is going to team with Paramount. And Paramount just got bought out by somebody. I don't know if they're going to change the name or anything, but I'm curious because even in things that are happening right now, Sony is always around, as is Paramount, and I'm just wondering if Paramount's going to be a backup once Netflix ends this contract in August of 2025. So, also in July, we started to find out that the American Riviera Orchard was in trouble. Megan's lifestyle brand is now the subject of a trademark protest. And it's really simple. She took a name of a place, and you can't use place names in a patent. You just can't. And she's got to do something different. And if she is already labeled a bunch of stuff with American Riviera Orchard, she's got to have all those labels removed and a new name and all of that. And what she's doing is she's yelling at her lawyers to argue it for her and get her what she wants, which is a trademark for American Riviera Orchard. But I don't know yet that they'll even be able to do that. I think she would have been better to find a different name, because American Riviera Orchard is not a good name. And Megan, God, I wish you watched this, but I mean, you're not gonna take anything I have to heart. But the so on I'm sorry, I had a ping and now I'm lost. So yeah, we started to notice problems with that. Next thing we know, Megan goes to the Hamptons, and we're seeing pictures of her, and she's following around people like Reese Witherspoon like a puppy who's lost, and they're trying all they can not to be pictured with her. In fact, I think Diane Sawyer flat out refused a picture with her, but it was a summit. Nobody knew how she was even invited, and it was just hard at that point. So I don't know what she thought she was going to accomplish in the Hamptons. Actually, I do. I think she thought she was going to accomplish a few hashtags with some big names like Witherspoon, like Gwyneth Paltrow, like anybody else who's in this type of business, even Martha Stewart. And that's just where they were. Okay, so my favorite part of July was this. So remember when Harry got the ESPY award and everybody went total apeshit over it because he didn't deserve it, and he doesn't. And he came to get it, and then they all started leaving the room like this huge entourage while this woman was singing. And so the woman started singing "I Loved You." I Love You. It was originally Dolly Parton's, but Whitney Houston made it famous. So this was my favorite part from the year, or the month of August. I mean, the month of July, rather. So let's take a look. The people in the audience get so upset because it's like she has no regard for the person on the stage performing. She just turned around talking to people and hugging people and acting like she's the only one in the room and that she has a right. It really, I'm glad the people booed, because I'm not sure I could have handled it if they didn't. So, yeah, I love that part where the audience says, like, "Get out. Quit making such a show. This is not about you." But, of course, in the mind of Megan, it is about her. And that's the thing we have to always remember is that she has a defect in her personality where she cannot get out of the habit, and she sees no reason to get out of the habit of her pervasive and malignant and destructive narcissism. And that's just my take on it. I'm not a psychologist or anything like that. I'm just saying that she meets the criteria. And I don't throw around the narcissist word a lot. I think there's probably a spectrum of narcissism, and we all have a little bit, and we all can have more brought out of us at certain times under stress or whatever. But I think for Megan, it is chronically fixed that she is always, always only thinking about herself. So August comes around. Here we get the trademark application saying that they've received it, but they are sending it back. They say the applicant must respond to this office action. The examining attorney requires additional information and/or is making an additional refusal or an initial refusal. So what they're saying is, we're refusing this until you come up with more information that can get us to understand how we can trademark this within the bounds of the law of trademarking. So, get it together and whatever. Well, we also know her attorneys filed for continuance in, I believe, November. I may have put it on the thing. But never fear, because in July we went on another faux royal tour, and there we are going to Colombia. And this is the first picture we get. And I don't have a huge problem with this, other than maybe the sleevelessness, but I'm not sure what they're all wearing. So, maybe sleeveless seems more appropriate for their cultural values. But are their shoes black? Because the thing is navy, and if her shoes are black, then I'm mad about that. If they're not, then I think this is something that kind of looks good on her. And so, wow, sometimes you got to give the devil her due. I also like this outfit. I like the coat. I like the white shirt. I think it should not be so wrinkled. I do not like using children as an accessory as she is right here. And there is videotape of her isolating and singling out that one little girl right there, because it makes Megan look kinder for to be holding the hand of that little girl, like she's the misfit. And I don't like classifying another person's child as a misfit, but Megan surely does it. And she pulls children out and grabs their hands and jerks them around, and all because she wants to have a certain look. But she doesn't care about that kid. She doesn't care. What can she do for that kid? Absolutely nothing. It's just a opportunity for her to wear another $100,000 worth of clothing. Okay, we're going to move on to the next. This was traumatic for me. You may need to close your eyes, because I had to get up close into a region that I didn't want to get up close into, and I'm scared, and you would be too. So maybe if you need to close your eyes, close your eyes. Okay, here we go. What is happening here? First of all, if you're going to go monochromatic, it should be the same color, even if the fabric's different. And your shoes should match the same color. But the real question is, why is it that when you stand up, we can see right here that you've got stains all over the waistband and down here, and you look down here and this is stained? What is going on with what are you leaking? Because Is it sweat? Is what it is, regardless of what personal problem you're having, that you're having this much moisture come out of your body, is that you're not wearing correct undergarments for this particular outfit. And that's always a problem with Meghan Markle. She doesn't wear undergarments correctly. If she was wearing, is that a skirt or some baggy pants? If she was wearing like a loose pair of like those, I forget what you call them, but those shorts that are like a very wide leg, shorter slip, and you pull them up, and it kind of keeps your trousers from sticking to you and everything. Um, if she had been doing any of that, this would not have happened. What happened? Did she spill water on herself? I don't know. But also, while we're talking about this, we need to be mindful that Harry seems to be thinking right there. And so let's be quiet. Shh. Harry's thinking. What is he thinking about? Oh, never mind. I was thinking about multiplication and maths and numbers, and wondering how you could have 10 or 12 divorces, but nothing in the middle. It seems that there should be a number between 10 and 12, and I just think we need that for our security. Anyway, that's Harry's. What is his deal, seriously? Why is he standing there looking like that? Why are you standing there looking like that? I just don't understand. All right, moving on. So then we've got this, and sleeveless again. Now we do have a lady that has a full sleeve, but she's wearing spaghetti straps. And this long dress, I like the dress. I think I don't have a problem with it on her. The problem I have with it is that it's not been tailored, so it's dragging the floor, and she's going to trip right over it. So I don't know why she I don't know why she does the things she does, you guys. I don't know. But certainly there are people who would measure how close you are to the floor, and then they could hold the extra fabric in your clothing up with little stitches so the fabric doesn't drag on the floor. If only there were people like that, Megan. You have access to one in every corner. Jeez. So I like the dress. I don't like how it's getting walked on and sanded up and whatever else is happening to it there. And again, Larry, he might as well change his name to Larry and become a cable guy, because I just can't help it. And Harry, again, looks like he got dressed last night, laid down in the hotel bed, and just slept in his clothes. And he knows better. I don't understand that. It's rude. It's rude to these people. Okay. This was a matronly little outfit, very modest, with the top and the skirt, kind of like a school teacher outfit. I was a school teacher for several years before I did what I'm doing now, but that's what it kind of reminded me of. But then I got to the shoes, and I'm like, why are you wearing kitten heel open back sandals instead of actual shoes? Why is it always something with her? It's always something. Let me know in the comments if I'm way off base there, because I just feel that I am right, and maybe I'm not. So I'll wait to hear from you all. Okay, now, first of all, we've got her prancing onto a stage with full jazz hands, but the gape in her shirt is obvious, and the sweat stains in that shirt are also obvious. There are things you can do, Megan. You can buy a bigger shirt that fits you. You can, you know, put deodorant there. You can do you see your doctor. And I mean, why are you doing this? You have so many resources. Go get your sweat glands deadened or something. You're proved to do that. You've gotten your Botox on all your eye muscles deadened and all that. Just go get your sweat glands dealt with too. If she has a problem with sweat, and she doesn't seem to really care. But anyway, so this is the last picture of her there. She's wearing this dress. I like I like the structure of this dress. I like how it was put together. I like the pattern. Um, I like a lot about it. I like the fabric. Um, it's not for somebody with no boobs like Megan. Yeah, otherwise we just get a Madonna effect, and that's not what anybody wants. I could do without the open hole there, and I think that would be important to go without. Um, she's also wearing those same slide shoes, which I think are inappropriate for this occasion. Everybody else is wearing whole shoes. Um, but I like it otherwise, but it is 100% inappropriate for this occasion. And she looks out of place. And she's not comfortable in it. She's got her legs hanging out and her crotch hanging out and a big peekaboo hole right here. And why is she dressing this way to go to countries that don't, that don't value this type of dress? I don't know. But in in theory, I like the dress on Megan, and in the context that Megan is wearing it, I think it is grossly inappropriate. Now we're gonna get out of here and get back on our private jet. And now we're wondering, why were they even here in Colombia? And so there's the picture with Megan with the little girl, and she's saying, "Help, help, I'm being exploited," because that's exactly what's happening, and she knows it, and on some level, and it, it, Megan's just gross. Find the kid that looks like, yeah, find the kid that she thinks is the most likely to have problems or look like she has special needs, and walk her around holding hands, acting like you love children when you won't even see your own. I mean, I just can't. And I feel so bad for that cute little girl, because she is doing her thing and going to school, and she got picked up on and hunted down and targeted by this con artist who wanted to curate a certain look. Anyway, so they were there to exploit everybody there. End of August, both Harry and William go to their Uncle Fellow's funeral. And then September comes, which contains Harry's 40th birthday. Harry does the Well Child Awards, and then he just kind of disappears. And we haven't seen him, and he's not been seen with Megan since then. And around that time, old secondhand Coke came out and said, "I heard he went to rehab and is actively avoiding Megan." Well, he still seems to be actively avoiding Megan, but we don't know of anything about his medical history or what he's done. But it seems like he's not under Megan's spell as much as he used to be. He probably will still come back a couple of times, but we'll see. So, next event, the great one, where Hollywood Reporter took down Harry and Meghan and revealed their bullying. So this came out in September of 2024, and this is the article where they call her like a tyrant in high heels, um, a narcissistic sociopath, all those things where they got 12 separate sources that said what horrible things that had been done to them by Megan and how Harry enables it all. Um, he also talked about how they're terrible at their work, they make bad decisions, et cetera, et cetera. So I will link this article in the program notes as well if you want to read it again, just because it's a fun read. It's like one of those, yes, you guys finally are getting what you deserve. And I think that's great. So we'll move on to. Oh, Megan opens Godmother's bookstore. Let's listen to this. Now, I'm going to take a minute here to kind of see if I can boost the volume up. I'm going to unmute. Well, anyway, it was saying, Megan, I love books, something like that. But, that's the kind of appearance that she's getting right now. She's not getting invited to anything cool. She's kind of crashing into bookstores and giving speeches and doing weird stuff. So here comes October. Harry is still nowhere to be seen. And Megan steps out alone in the crazy red dress. Let me go back. She steps out alone in the crazy red dress and gate, what do you call it? Gate, it's not tailgate. Gate crashes. Gate crashes. Yeah, I think it's great. Gate crashes. She gate crashes the Children's Hospital LA event of LA, and I'll let us watch this.
Ladies, can we start you with the beginning, please? Ladies, together. Ladies together. Oh, one stop. Can we get all the smiles in one direction? There it is. Thank you, cute. Oh. And guys, right in front. There we go. Beautiful. And then Paul and Megan together. Paul and Megan. Okay. And the girl with the camera in front. Your hands. Your flat. Thank you. And right here, please. Oh.
Okay, and I stopped it there because then she was going to accost that African American family, and I just couldn't deal with it because you just knew that they had a daughter, and you just knew she was going to go handhold that daughter in with every power of her being. Now, after that incident, she stayed relatively quiet because she should have been very embarrassed. She was thrown out of that event, and that is great for her. So we go into November, and the only thing that happens really, and we're getting to the point in time where I've already covered some stuff, so I'm just kind of building the highlights and going to get us through the last few months relatively quickly. So she went to the thing to support the hair care colorist, and because she's so important. Then December comes around, and she goes with Tyler Perry to the Paley Honors Fall Gala. And she is the only one not asked on the stage to give a tribute, which is good because who wanted to hear that? But again, I don't understand the whole thing with her and Tyler Perry, and I will get to it. If it takes me to the day I die, I will dig and dig until I find that out because I can't figure it out. There's no love there. There was no. I I don't know. All right, rolling on down into the last month of the year, December. Meghan Markle supports Tyler Perry at a Paley Awards Fall Gala. We talked about that. Oh, and then the high stakes meet high glamour in the world of polo, the Polo documentary came out. If you are interested in seeing that, you should go over to my video about the polo where I reviewed it. And if you don't understand the rules of polo, I did put that in there with some cute illustrations with horses and stuff. So, and no horses were hurt in the making of my polo field. So, there's that. Notice that Netflix put it out with only a couple of weeks of build up, and then when it came out, it was a flop, and I think that's what's gonna happen with Megan's stupid show about cooking. Alright. So, the last thing is Christmas cards of past and present, and if you want, you can kinda scroll through here, I think, or does it link? Well, you can go to my holiday video, which I posted. I'll have it in the program notes and see that if you want to see a big Christmas card analysis, because they sure gave us a lot. So now, by the grace of God, we are done. I do not think Harry and Meghan achieved a year of redemption by any means, especially given that Hollywood Reporter article about them, and especially given the fact that they're on that publication's worst of list for Hollywood, and nobody likes them. Nobody invites them to parties. They're not cool, and they did not win cool points over that past year by going around acting like something that they're not. And Meghan is really the one who suffers from that, because I think people would hang out with Harry. But anyway, so we're done, and then maybe until this next year, we'll go through the highlights of 2025, and maybe I'll get it out at New Year's when I intend it to. But our next episode is going to be getting back to Lady C's book. We're still in chapter 3. We need to get to part B of chapter 3 and hopefully finish up that chapter. And then, or now, I want to talk about resolutions for the new year. So I'm hoping I'm pledging to try to get 2 videos up a week and to really focus on the channel and getting it going. And I appreciate everything that you all have done to help me and to get me started. Again, please like, share, subscribe, comment, do any of those things. They're so good for the algorithm, and that helps me a lot too. So, if you like my content, then please share it. If you'd like me to do something else, please put it in the comment section here, and I'll try to cover it. But other than that, I hope you all had a wonderful New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, and that you will forgive me for having this given to you on January 2nd rather than the 1st or the 31st as I have planned. So thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. For those of you who are still here, I applaud you. So that is the end for this recording.